What's going on, everybody? This is dkdynamite, and today we're going to be talking about new details about Black Ops 2024, some hype for Treyarch's future, and even more. Definitely stay tuned. But before we jump into that, be sure to hit that subscribe button down below, drop a like, and make sure the notifications on to stay up to date with everything going on in Cold War Year 2, Warzone, Modern Warfare 2, and any other future Call of Duty as well. Also, don't forget to check out the Juggernaut beanies available over on eBay. They were put together by a legendary member of the community known as Perk Lemonade, and the link to them is, of course, down below. Pick one up while they're still available. But in case you guys missed it, Onslaught Elite is also back as an LTM over in Cold War Zombies, and you have a good couple of months to actually play this LTM to get the free Groza blueprint. I have a Zombies focus video coming out tomorrow. It was meant to come out yesterday, but there's been so much going on over the past week, and I've been double uploading every single day, so thank you for bearing with me as I cover literally everything going on in all Call of Duty game modes. But first and definitely foremost, we have a major report from Gaming Scooper the Ghost of Hope, who said, and I quote, COD 2024's campaign will cover Operation Iraqi Freedom and Operation Enduring Freedom. So he then said, Call of Duty has never used the 1990s or 2000s era in any of their games. I think this is another perfect setting alongside Cold War that fits Black Ops very well. So this is some huge info, and I wonder how much more is going to get revealed about this game, considering we're very far away from release. But as you guys probably remember, a good couple of months ago, people out there took it upon themselves to data mine Warzone Mobile, and for some reason, there was some type of shared database with MW2, Warzone 2, Black Ops 2024, to the point where Warzone mobile data miners found references to at least 4 new multiplayer maps, and even concept art of those maps were found and posted online. Can't show you anything on screen for obvious reasons, but Charlie Intel also wrote some articles about it. I'll leave you guys with those references down in the video's description. So a ton is already known about the next Black Ops. Doesn't seem like it's going to be semi-futuristic at all, but it will be a direct sequel to Black Ops Cold War. Doesn't rule out the possibility that we can get maybe some flash forwards to follow up on what happened after Black Ops 2, but I do think with Cold War's success, they want to make sure they really follow up on that kind of vibe for Black Ops moving forward. And it could also mean that Mason and Woods will cameo somehow if it works with the canon, but that maybe characters like Adler and Park will take more of a lead in the next Black Ops game and will be the central protagonists, kind of how they were already in Black Ops Cold War. Now, I think what's crazy though is that we had the Gulf War in 1990 and 1991, followed by the Iraq War in 2003, going all the way into 2011. So what I think is going to happen here is they're going to find a very creative way to tie in Perseus to both of those wars, right? To kind of give us an idea that Perseus had some influence on those real life events and give it that nice Black Ops twist. Considering how strong the writing has been for the Black Ops canon, I can't even imagine how much they can really do in the next Black Ops game, on top of possibly having 2 full years of support, 12 seasons with potentially 12 major post-launch cinematic cutscenes. I'm sure that's how MW2 is going to work, and I think if that's successful, Activision will definitely want to do that with Treyarch's next Call of Duty. Now, I also believe that, similar to how we got Ronald Reagan in Black Ops Cold War, we could end up getting an in-game model for Bill Clinton or George W. Bush to kind of further the plot along a little bit with how, you know, Adler's crew was set along to figure out Perseus's connection to both the Gulf War and the Iraq War. That would be really crazy to see, and I'm sure they'll do something creative like that for the next Call of Duty, a game they also have a lot more time to make in comparison to even a game like Black Ops Cold War, which was a pandemic experience. But if you also look at the rumors from Cold War's DLC season regarding Yemen and Plaza, obviously, as I said, whenever those rumors first came out, it made more sense to drop in some more Black Ops 1 maps as remasters in Cold War, and then save all the Black Ops 2 ones for the next COD, which we thought at the time was going to be semi-futuristic, as originally reported by Tom Henderson. Maybe that's wrong, or that's still somewhat true, we're not sure. But I think what they could do, at least with Yemen, is give us maybe a 90s version of that map that might fit the Gulf War and Iraq War plotlines, and throw that into multiplayer. Even Plaza, I mean, we could definitely see some Black Ops 2 multiplayer maps that were popular and played well, kind of brought into Black Ops 2024, just in a bit of a different way, where it's not exactly a one-to-one, maybe in terms of layout it is, but the aesthetic could still give us more of a 90s vibe than what we got in 2025 from Black Ops 2. Now, I also think it's ironic that Black Ops 4 did feature quite a few Cold War era maps, Nuketown included. I'm not sure if that was exactly a teaser at the time for the game they would eventually come out with, Black Ops Cold War, but maybe we can go along with that trend and say, okay, there's a bunch of Black Ops 2 futuristic maps in Cold War multiplayer. Maybe that's a hint that they're going to revisit Black Ops 2 era maps in 2024, or that they're going to remake them to fit the 90s. Maybe it means something. We also have a fantastic tweet from a Twitter user known as Phantom Ice. He also puts out some great videos. He said, and I quote, "Just saying that David Section Mason would be active in the US Navy during the time period of Black Ops 2024. He put some lore on screen so you can see that he was active in the Navy in 1996. So I do believe a way they could dance around the Black Ops 2 canon and not interrupt kind of the flow of that story with how Woods was in the box and how Mason went missing or died, depending on what canon ending they go with. I think they could at least explore that, yeah, Mason was serving in the Navy, maybe he'll be present in a mission or something, meets Adler. It will be very cool to see how they kind of tie all that together, because I'm sure Treyarch has a plan somewhere down the line to really follow up on what happened to our characters in the future. And even if Black Ops 2024 doesn't cover the future, it will still be good to get some more backstory with David Mason or Harper or some other characters that we don't know much about from that era, the 90s. Now tonight's video is sponsored by Mech Arena, an amazing free-to-play shooter game available on mobile. Now Mech Arena is an action-packed game that allows you to have crazy matches from start to finish in around 5 minutes. There's also a ton of smaller close quarters maps built for tactical and constant encounters. It's not a reflex first-person shooter, but does not feel clunky like other mech games out there, while Mech Arena is also a game that does not base the matchmaking off of your skill. Mech Arena takes mobile multiplayer to the next level, allowing you to customize each shoot to your liking. Here are some examples of some of my all-time favorites. You can open the vault to see your skins and unlock new ones, followed by tapping on a mech, then loadout and paint can to equip your available skins or different paint jobs. You can then take these custom mech suits to a ton of different game modes such as control point capture, 5v5 and 2v2 deathmatch, tournaments, and even more. Enjoy the crazy action-packed gameplay that you guys are seeing on screen right now. Now this month is also huge for Mech Arena. First up, it's the Battle Pass for Season 9. With a ton of rewards and skins to grab, you can see them on screen right now, and at the same time, it's Mech Arena's 1-year anniversary. They've got a packed schedule of special events with some crazy prizes to win, including an awesome new sniper weapon and the new pilot known as the Archangel. I cannot wait to dive into all of this once it launches. Now Mech Arena is completely free to play on Android and iOS, and you can use my personal link down below in the video description or the QR code to get a free starter pack worth $25, a Firelight skin, a Prodigy crate, and a Plasma Cannon 4 to help kickstart your game. And if you're quick, you can add me to your friends list on Mech Arena. I'll put my profile on screen right now so you can see, so we can get some matches in together. But thank you to Mech Arena for sponsoring tonight's video. Now, the Ghost of Hope then followed up by saying, "I am hyped for Modern Warfare 2, but I'm even more hyped for COD 2024 on the basis of, 1, Treyarch are not having to create plus use tools for development like Infinity Ward have had to do, and 2, Treyarch are planning out 2 years of content from the start rather than towards the tail end of development like Infinity Ward." So what that means is that Treyarch already has 2 years of support in mind. Even if we get a new Call of Duty that comes out in 2025, it will probably still be a Black Ops 3 or Cold War scenario where content is still added to the last Call of Duty that Treyarch led. And I think what he means by not having to create or use tools for development, it just means that the MW engine is so polished at this point. I mean, Sledgehammer used it. It's just ready to be utilized. Whereas Infinity Ward had to kind of create that from the ground up. So yeah, thank you Infinity Ward for having that polish so that Treyarch could just jump right into using that engine and can make a very solid experience that will probably feel and maybe play like MW, but will still look like an arcadey type of Black Ops game. Don't forget, engine doesn't necessarily mean gameplay, and doesn't represent visuals either. Treyarch will of course put their Black Ops spin on the game despite it being on the same engine, but I think overall it's a change that probably needs to happen, right? I've been an advocate before that it's cool when different devs use different engines so that their games feel different, but at this point, considering all the Warzone integrations and Activision wanting a smooth transition from one game to the next, I think it'll be a lot easier for the entire community to have games that at least play somewhat similar, even if they have different styled maps and color palettes. If they play somewhat similar, it'll help for that transition for people to hop on multiplayer, then zombies, then back to Warzone, something like that. I know it was crazy for people that played a lot of Cold War multiplayer, but also played Warzone, right? The games do feel fairly different, even though the same weapons were in those games for the most part. There were still a lot of differences that probably turned people off. Now, Hope also said the infrastructure of IW9, which is the engine, is already there for them to use and take advantage of. The only thing they'd really need to create is theater mode technically. Planning out 2 years of content from the get-go is easier than getting hit with it towards the end of development too. So I hope this doesn't mean that we're gonna get a very weird post-launch season for MW2 where we're not getting that much because they have to stretch a bunch of content out for 12 seasons. But even if that does happen, it's still hopeful to hear that Treyarch is planning out 2 years of support from the get-go so that each season feels as action-packed and content-packed as the seasons did for Black Ops Cold War. And then to have that, but 12 times, that would be incredible. But if you look at MW19's DLC season, there was still a good amount of content added each season, but it was definitely pretty Warzone focused for the most part, similar to what's going on now with Vanguard. But during Cold War's life cycle, there was quite a bit added to every single mode during each season, and I give Treyarch respect for that, considering how hard that must have been, considering that wasn't even their game to begin with. It was a pandemic experience when developing it. Then they had to work on 6 seasons of post-launch DLC, on top of then moving a skeleton crew over to work on Vanguard ranked in zombies. Treyarch's been through it all, so I'm glad they're getting an extra year to really plan out a solid Black Ops game for 2024. Now, I also think for those out there that have wanted something out of a Black Ops DLC season, whether it's a Zombies Chronicles 2, whether it's a ton more multiplayer maps, whether it's a crazy amount of weapons and modes, I think Black Ops 2024 might open up the door for that to actually happen to the extreme. Like, I'm talking Black Ops 3 Year 2 and 3 or Cold War Year 2, combine all that content and we could see all that in a Year 2 for Black Ops 2024, right? Combine all the extra DLC they've added over the years to their previous games and imagine that at such a bigger scale with more budget, with 6 extra seasons, on top of a really strong post-launch story with cutscenes. It's very exciting to think about the future of COD here, especially when you think about how it'll be tightly integrated with Warzone 2 and the weapons will transfer over nicely. There's so much to look forward to here, which is amazing. Now, Treyarch also put out a tweet reminding people that they are hiring, and they mentioned the future of multiplayer and zombies specifically in their tweet. It's not to say that maybe they're not doing a campaign in 2024, maybe all the positions for that are already filled, or they could be referencing that Raven is going to do the campaign again, so that Treyarch has an additional year of development on just multiplayer and zombies. That would be absolutely amazing to hear. I hope Raven could balance that though. I know they've been busy with development on Warzone 2, but that should be wrapping up really soon, so I think Raven could have a good opportunity and a time slot to do the COD 2024 campaign. The Cold War one was fantastic, one of my all-time favorites. Would not mind them doing it again. But we also have a dev from Treyarch who did remind us that zombies is never gonna die. Despite the fear-mongering or people out there that believe Vanguard zombies flop so hard to where zombies will get canceled, I think big things are in store for zombies altogether. And with Treyarch getting an extra year to work on the next Call of Duty, not only will the multiplayer be so much stronger and more polished with more content than Cold War's was, but I think zombies will also see some insane innovation, right, to make the next generation of round-based maps, Outbreak, hopefully Onslaught, maybe even Grief and some other modes. There is so much in the pipeline that could only happen, it can only be possible with more development time. I mean, yeah, you can blame them for Black Ops 4's situation. They had 3 years to make that, and because of poor leadership, the game released broken. I totally get that. Scrapped campaign, a bunch of other issues, shoehorned in Battle Royale, and I'm a big Blackout fanboy, and I'm saying that. But with Cold War, I gotta give them slack for that one. Pandemic, it was Sledgehammer Games to begin with. Looking at COD 2024 though, this is their time to shine again, with a lot of new staff, with extra time to make the game, no BS, no interruptions, and an engine that's already ready to be used thanks to Infinity Ward's work. But that is about it. This has been DK Dynamite. Leave our thoughts down below in the comment section. What are your thoughts on the new rumors regarding Black Ops 2024? How are you feeling about the hype for Treyarch's future with the COD series following the release of COD 2.0 and everything else we discussed? Really hope you've enjoyed, and peace out, everybody.